So hello, my name is Esther Fransham and I teach Pilates in the community, and I'd like to tell you about a class that I teach called Pilates for Back Care, and this is at 11:30 on a Friday morning. And with this class it's for people who have niggles or back injuries or recovering from back operations or knees or anything like that, but particularly the focus of this class is very much on the back and helping to strengthen and improve its movement and improve the whole movement of the body, to be honest. So with this class we are currently using a loop that I'm holding here. You could use an activation band, which is a bit fatter and a bit thicker, made of fabric, but we're using this elastic loop. We use stimulating prickle balls here, so these are really good for helping to release the fascia in the feet. We also use it on our legs. We sit on it as well, sit on them as well, so we do quite a bit of work with these. We also are currently, along with the loop, using the soft Pilates ball. So this helps to just give us a bit more movement and also a bit more focus on the exercises that we do. And most importantly for this class is our towel. So this is a great piece of kit, sort of shower towel. We fold this up and we pop it underneath the body. So with any sort of back issues and things like that, we can put it underneath the head, so we can just raise the head up a little bit. If we're doing any side laying work, then we can pop it underneath the ear or put it straight onto the floor, so you've got that little bit of elevation there. We can put it underneath the back, underneath the pelvis, underneath the side, just to support the body if we need to. So really, really great versatile piece of kit. We can also use the soft Pilates ball for all this sort of work, but we deflate it so that it's a lot more saggy, so that it can then go underneath the body to help support the body. But at the moment we're using it and it's relatively inflated. I mean, mine's a little bit squidgy, but there we go. So to start off with this class, we usually roll through the feet, so using the prickle balls to roll through the feet. And what we do as well sometimes is we put pressure onto the ball and either stand on it in some way, so it doesn't matter which part of the foot. And then when we come off the ball, off the prickle ball, we notice the difference between both sides of the body. So that's really important, to just notice what we're doing, what we're releasing. And then with movements, with the exercises, we'll either start at the shoulders and work down, or the feet and work up. And again, it's about moving the joints, moving the muscles, getting everything moving. So from here we could spread the toes out a little bit and then pedal through the feet. And then we would do a few little squats and just changing that up. So we might step forwards and do a little squat, step to the corner, come back out to the side and turn the hips out. So just getting a bit of movement through the pelvis there. So circling the hips would be another thing that we would probably do. And then coming up through to the spine, so rotational movement. And because the back in this class is all about back care and looking after our backs, we would start off with a little movement. So this would be here, or raising the arms up and just taking the arm out to the side. So we'd start off with a small rotational movement, and then we would take it to a slightly bigger, so bringing the elbow back and reaching and sweeping. So again, that would increase the rotational movement, so going from lumbar to lumbar and thoracic spine, and then to increase that again, taking it to cervical spine as well by following the arm with your gaze. So this would then give a greater range of movement all the way up through the spine. So the same thing would happen with lateral flexion. So here we could put the hand into the waist and take the arm up a little bit and just sort of check in with that, and the hand being into the waist, just sort of supporting the body so we don't collapse, and then taking the arm over a bit further, So just taking that arm over, so increasing that lateral flexion, and then taking the arm all the way round, so giving that full shoulder movement too, so giving that big lateral movement. So that would be increased bit by bit, so clients would have the opportunity to stick at the level that was working for them, and they could do a bigger movement and just to help improve. So start off with small movements and getting slowly bigger with our movements, and again letting the hands slide down the thighs, and again just lengthening and rounding the back, which is a really beautiful way of just extending and contracting the spine. So flexion and extension of the spine as you work through, so you can bring your hands lower down towards the knees. That's it, get a greater range of movement, so lengthening through, and just with the back, feeling our way round the back. And I always encourage clients as well to just sort of kiss the edges of how their back is feeling. So if it's feeling particularly sore, then stick within what feels good for them and only push it so that it sort of kisses the edge of that soreness or that tightness. But if they feel they want to go further with the move, then there is that opportunity. So after we've done some movement and mobility, we always do some standing leg work. So that might be knee lifts and then taking it diagonal knee lift with the hand, or we've done some hip hitches. That's it, so dropping the hip and lifting the hip, and then heel kicks. So again, challenging the balance but also working around the pelvis and the hip area, and then knee lift and heel kick here, and then just moving through that hip joint again. So again, the foot could be on the floor, the foot could be just off the floor, the client could just have their hand on the wall or on a chair, or not at all. So just moving through the different levels of, I say of ease because nothing's particularly easy, but just working through all those different ranges is really important. And then after doing that, we'd probably come down onto the floor. So taking ourselves down onto the floor, so any way you want. We could roll down onto the floor, but actually when you've got a back issue, sometimes it's easy to do it your way. So very much give clients their own opportunity to come down onto the floor any way they want to. And so we would probably come down to a lying position first and then get ourselves organised and on the floor. So here, if the back or the head or the neck was feeling particularly iffy, you could pop the towel behind the head and just raise it up that little bit. So from here, we might just take the arms up and just focusing on engaging the core here. So scissoring through the arms. So when you take the arm overhead, not letting the chest lift. So thinking about keeping the core engaged here. So that would just help with there. So taking the movement, and then we might do shoulder bridge. So just peeling the spine up off the floor and back down. So what we would also do is with the loop at the moment, we could place that around one leg and the other. Bring that above the knees. And again, from here, as we shoulder bridge up, you've got the tension of the band around the knees. We could then increase that by opening the knees, keeping the hips lifted here. So that would really help, and then coming back down. So then we'd probably do some side laying leg work. So the side laying Pilates series, clam, knee lift, leg kick, leg circle. So all those exercises there. So onto the back. So we've still got the band around the knee. So that would keep the leg, it would stop you from opening your knee quite so far. So that would then be the challenge, really helping to strengthen up the gluteal muscles, which in turn help to support the back. So we have this, then we would lift and lengthen the leg. So that's challenging your balance as well as the movement here. So then we probably take it onto our tummy. So with this class at the moment, we've been working very much with doing rotational movement around the shoulders. So lying on your back and passing the soft Pilates ball around the body here. So we've been working through this to help improve the movement through the shoulder and through the back. And then when we get to the ball across the bottom here, pulling the ball and reaching the hands to the feet. So you really pull and then bring the hands around and pull. So this would really help with the posterior chain of muscles, but also help with your core muscles as well. And then you'll notice I've still got the loop around my knees. We would roll over and do the same thing on the other side. So coming back onto the back then, so I'm just going to remove the loop. Another exercise that we do quite a bit of is into tabletop legs. So we do a knee lift, but here, let's just pop the towel back under my head. What I do get clients to do is to slot their hands, their fingertips underneath their back so that they can tell whether the shape of their back or whether they're actually squashing their hands into their back. So with the hands slotted underneath the lower back without actually moving or allowing the hands to get squashed anymore, I encourage my clients to lift their foot up off the floor, and that really switches on the abdominal muscles because you can feel if you're actually squashing your hands or not. So we would change pace with this. So rather than just picking the foot up and lowering the foot, we would then change it to being really quite slow and then placing the foot back down again. So again, that changes the quality of the move and changes the strength and the work through that. So there we are. So then we would come onto, so we probably hug the legs in towards the chest, probably have a full body stretch just to help to lengthen the back a little bit, to open up through here. With the soft Pilates ball, a really nice lower back stretch and hip flexor stretch is to place the ball underneath the hips, bring one knee in towards your chest, and then just to extend the other leg. So here, allowing the body the opportunity to just lengthen through. Also in this position with the soft Pilates ball under your hips, the lower back is getting a really nice opening. But again, if any clients have got osteoporosis or osteopenia or any lower back issues, then I'll give them alternatives for this stretch. So placing the feet back down onto the floor and then coming back up. Oh, well, sometimes actually when we've got time, what we will do is have a quiet relaxation before we go into the stretch, and it's something that I have done in the past. So we lay down, you can be on your back, on your side, on your front, wherever feels good for you, but people usually on their back, hands on their tummy, by their side or knees bent, and we'll just spend a few moments working our way through the body, just allowing the body to relax and release. So a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit of meditation, a little bit of breath work, just to allow the body and all the work that we've done to just come together. And then we would finish off with a stretch. So I usually bring people onto their side with the bottom leg out, top leg bent, and then here opening the arm. So this gives opportunity for having a nice big stretch and a nice big open, getting all the spine feeling nice and, I say nice and juicy, but moving through the spine, opening through the back, opening through the front of the chest. And then from there we would do the other side and then probably come up to sitting. And again, allowing clients to choose the way they come up to sitting. It's very important because they know their body. And then here, doing a really nice stretch through the hips. It's a 90-90, but just offering that mobility there through the pelvis. So this is a typical stretch that we do. And and maybe just holding it and moving it through that. But again, if somebody's got hip replacements, then I can give an alternative to that stretch as well. So then from there we tend to move up to standing, so any way you like to. Coming up, again, I try and encourage people to pedal through the feet and then walk their hands back towards their feet and coming up to standing. So from here then, we tend to do standing stretches because when you've got a bad back, it can be quite difficult to get down onto the floor. So a lovely standing stretch here is hamstrings. So I encourage people to put their feet to the outside of their mat. So the outside of the foot's tracing down the outside of the mat here. Hands are facing away from the pelvis. So from here, just a fold forwards. So from here then, keeping the body long, pushing the hips back behind the heels, and then that gives that lovely stretch. So keeping a sharp angle at the hips and then just pushing the hips from one side to the other, and that gives a really lovely stretch to the legs. And then maybe we'll have a nice sweep round, so a sort of full body movement of taking the arm round and through, so sweeping round, being really focused on moving the feet though, so we don't actually keep those feet still. So round we go, and that's it. So that's the sort of thing that we do. But again, if people have got knee issues or hip issues, then we can always use a chair and use that and do some alternatives using the chair. So yeah, there we go. I hope that was interesting. And I hope that gives you some sort of thoughts and ideas about what we do in this back care class. And if it sounds like it's the class for you, then do drop me a message, let me know, and I can send you details on how to join the class. All right then, well, thank you very much indeed for watching. Have a wonderful rest of day, and I shall see you soon. All right then, lots of love.